I got John Gruden, and Gruden isn't the problem in Oakland. Cash is. The Raiders lost 33-13 on Monday Night Football to the cash-rich, free-spending Los Angeles Rams. Cash is king in the NFL, and Raiders owner Mark Davis is relatively cash poor until the Raiders move into their brand-new $2 billion playpen in Las Vegas. Los Angeles owner Stan Kroenke made it rain all offseason inside the Rams locker room. He stretched the salary cap with large signing bonuses to Todd Gurley, Aaron Donald, Brandon Cooks, and anyone else he thought could help the Rams win immediately while quarterback Jared Goff is on a rookie deal. Kroenke is worth about $8 billion. He made his money in real estate. His wife is a Walton, an heiress to the Walmart fortune. She's worth about $6 billion and change. Together, they own several sports franchises as hobbies. Mark Davis is worth around $400 to $500 million. The Davis family made their money in professional football. The actual business of football has to make sense for Davis and the Raiders. It's not easy for Davis to cut a check to Khalil Mack for $34 million on day of signing, especially when the Raiders have already paid their franchise quarterback. $34 million is what the Bears handed Mack day one, and an additional $26 million in guarantees over the first 3 years of Mack's contract. $60 million is more than 10% of Mark Davis's total wealth. You ever signed over 10 to 15% of your wealth? That hurts almost as much as a California divorce settlement. It's cheaper to keep Chucky. Much has been made of his 10-year, $100 million contract. It's a smart play. You pay Gruden $10 million a year to serve as the franchise's mascot. He's Marshawn Lynch without the dreads. Fans in Oakland love Gruden. He makes the franchise nationally relevant, and he makes them interesting on the field. I thought he outcoached Sean McVay and Wade Phillips last night. Gruden is working with next to nothing. He took a 31-year-old Jared Cook and made him look like the second coming of Tony Gonzalez. The Raiders led at halftime 13-10, primarily because the Rams didn't know how to cover a journeyman tight end who's never caught more than 54 passes in a season. Cook caught 9 last night for 180 yards. He's on pace to break all of Jerry Rice's records. 2 things doomed the Raiders last night. Derek Carr wet the bed and tossed 3 interceptions. But even worse, without Khalil Mack, the Raiders gave McVay and Jared Goff too much time to figure out what to do offensively. Goff stood in the Rams' pocket without a care in the world. He had time to survey the field, clip his fingernails, order from DoorDash, and organize a search party for missing teammate Ndamukong Suh. We'll get into this later, Marcellus, but did Suh ever leave the line of scrimmage last night? Gruden and the Brooklyn Raiders likely won't be playoff qualifiers this year and next. It's going to be rough, and you'll hear a lot of talk about the game passing him by. I don't see it. Cash rules everything around Gruden. He's going to rise like cream when the Raiders get to Las Vegas.
This essay is interesting because I wanted to give you a fail. I wanted to, but you start tugging at my heartstrings, man. All those Wu-Tang references, I couldn't give you an F on this one. So I give you an incomplete. Incomplete. You framed a financial argument based on net worth when you know in the NFL they have a hard cap. So if they have a hard cap, guess what? We all have the same ceiling and we all have the same floor since they also have a minimum cap. Every team in the NFL can spend up to $177 million on this roster, the ceiling. And then the floor is you have to spend 95% of that. So your net worth is out the door. Your financial hardships personally are out the door once you qualify as an owner. So as you call it, Brokeland is not as broke as you want to make it sound because they can still write the same checks under the NFL's financial laws that a Kroenke can, and they just chose not to do it.
Here's where we have just a major disagreement, and I've disagreed with the league. I disagreed with Carl Peterson when he was running the Chiefs and Clark Hunt, with the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs. This is what I believe about the salary cap. Y'all players, to some degree, have fallen for the okie dokie. Y'all believe in a hard cap.
Okay.
I don't. I believe it's all about cash up front. If an owner is willing to hit $34 million. He can stretch the cap, and it can be as elastic as anything on the planet. And that's why the Rams were sitting out there, yeah, we'll take Khalil Mack. Because Kroenke is worth so much money, and he's willing to spend so much up front that he'll stretch the cap, and it's the most elastic thing on the planet, and then they'll make moves a year or two later down the road to fix the cap when the cap hits start coming. And so I just think Kroenke and a lot of the rest of the guys around the league have made billions in other industries. Al Davis and now his son, they made their money in football. Okay. And the business has to work. And so I looked out there and saw the whole John Gruden thing to me. I watched it last night, and I go, you know what? This makes sense. He adds some gravitas to the Oakland Raiders. He makes them a national story. There's a way to talk about it. And then just in terms of coaching last night, I thought, particularly in the first half, until, it just got out of hand, I thought he really outcoached Sean McVay and Wade Phillips. I thought he took Jared Cook, shoved him down their throat, stayed in that game, and had a chance to win when the gap in talent was enormous. That should have been a blowout from word go. Okay, you just wrote another essay because you know what? You try to counter my argument with a conspiracy theory. It may make you feel good emotionally, but I'm being fact-based up here. So there is a hard cap. There is a minimum salary cap. Beyond that, let's talk about if we're going to make a correlation between your net worth and what you can spend on your salary and your roster. The richest owner in football is the Cleveland Browns. And then followed by the Seattle Seahawks and the Cleveland Browns. I mean, the Carolina Panthers. No. The Haslam's not. No, Carolina Panthers. Paul Allen is the richest. Right. Gotcha. Didn't we just hear the Seattle Seahawks have to pay a Russell Wilson to say bye to the Legion of Doom? Like, now, if you say bye to the Legion of Doom and you're the richest owner in sports, how come you're not manipulating the salary cap, as you say in your conspiracy theory, to write more checks going forward? Not worth it. Not worth. Have you, Richard Sherman, torn Achilles. Michael Bennett, a lot of wear on his tires. Still a baller. Cam Chancellor, injury, whatever. Again, it's not where Earl Thomas is pushing 30 or is 30. I just don't. I think they're at a point where they feel like it's not worth it. And look, not everybody that's rich is, hey, like I'm going to throw my cash around. Some people are a bit more stingy. But there is a minimum cap for those reasons. But let's talk about the fan base. And you're saying they try to appease the fan base by giving them Chucky. Now, here's the thing. Here's the problem with the Raiders organization under Mark Davis, which has manipulated this franchise over the years to the point where its fan base should be upset with ownership. They have not won a division title since 2002. This is not a winning organization. Just win, baby. That baby's old. That baby's grown. That baby has not won in a long time. And you're thinking about trying to get a John Gruden. He's sitting there comfortable with air conditioning on in the Monday Night Football booth. And they sit there and say, we have to get Chucky. But the optics can't look like he's a stopgap just to market us to Las Vegas. So what do? Which most people do when they lie and get caught in a lie. They go to the extreme. You don't give a coach in a non-guaranteed sport a 10-year contract because then that same coach comes in day one. Oh, my defensive star, future Hall of Famer? I ain't calling him. Oh, my all-pro punter? I ain't calling him. Matter of fact, I'm going to cut him before I even meet him. He's so comfortable in his position that you're saying that they're not spending the money. I'm saying they don't care to spend the money. All they care about is moving.